everyone, so today we're going to be going through the newest collection from REM for Wicked for Good, and today we're focusing on mainly the Glinda set. I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of like a comparison from last year's set to this year's set, so you'll actually get to see both of them if you either missed it last year or you just wanted a little refresher. So I do actually have both of the packagings back here. I do have to say, packaging wise, I think I kind of liked the boxes more from last year's collection. However, they're both still very, very pretty. And both sets have 4 items each in them. Last year's set, I don't know if it's still available anymore, but I believe it was $60, and I believe this year's was $65. So starting off with the first product, we have the all over glitter glow stick. This one is called I Come and Go by Bubble. So let's go ahead and get into the application. So starting off, I actually want to use one of the items from the 2024 collection Glinda set. Since there's not really a blush per se in the 2025 set, we're gonna kind of go back and forth between the 24 and the 25 set. So here are the two products. This one is from the 24 set, this one's from the 25 set. This one is the She's So Good blush and lipstick. So we're gonna use this one for our blush today because the one from the 25 set, this one is called the I Come and Go by Bubble all over glow stick. So I think I'm gonna use this one more as like the highlighter and this one more as like the blush. Now if memory serves me correct, I believe this is pretty pigmented, so I'm just gonna do like a really light little dot of it and we're gonna like blend it out. So I'm gonna use my favorite Kabuki blending brush. I'm gonna start working that into the skin. I think I actually like picking it up from the stick directly rather than putting it on my skin. I feel like it's just blending a little bit easier this way. All right, and this is what the blush stick looks like applied to my cheeks. I also really like how the two sets are easily identifiable because the 2024 set's definitely a little bit more like straight pink, whereas this one's a little bit more of like that lavendery kind of color. So I like that you can tell them apart pretty easy. All right, so now we're gonna do the highlighting portion. I'm really interested to see like what this is going to look like. I'm gonna do like a little pre-swatch on my hand. Ooh, it's definitely very, very sheer. Okay, so it has a little bit of a like a pinky, very sheer base to it, but then it has like a little bit of that purpley blue reflex to it. So I think I'm gonna just apply some to the back of my hand and kind of pick it up with my finger and tap it onto like my cheekbone area. It does have a little bit more of like oily-ish or slippery-ish kind of texture to it, whereas like the blush was definitely a little bit more of like a thicker creamy kind of texture. This one definitely has a little bit more of a like some slippy kind of oiliness to it. I do have to say it's very, very subtle on the skin. I don't know if you can really pick it up very much. I feel like to me it's really kind of giving me more of like oily layer that's just kind of setting on my skin. I don't really feel like I'm getting very much of the actual like shimmer kind of particles. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about this one. I think it's really pretty, but like the shimmer's very, very subtle. It's kind of like one of those oily feelings that I don't think is ever gonna like really like set down or anything. So I'm not so sure about this one. I think like the idea of it's pretty. I just don't really like the formula. So I don't know about this one, you guys. I don't know. Next up, we have the liquid glitter shadow. This one is called Bubble of Brilliance. So let's go ahead and get to the application. So now for the two liquid shadows. Once again, this is from 24 collection. This is the 25 collection. This one is called Bubble of Brilliance. And this one also has a little bit more of like that purpley blue kind of color, whereas this one was a little bit more of like a mauvey pink. I remember I didn't love this one last year, so I'm hoping I'm gonna like this one a bit more. So I've already primed my lids. I used the Morphe Solo Artist Priming Cream Eyeshadow in the color Airplay. It's just kind of like my skin color kind of color. So I've already applied that to my lids. I am going to start off the look with a little bit of the shadows from the palette. And this one is the 2025 palette. So I do want to start my base with just a little bit of colors from here. So starting off, I'm going to take that light peach color. This one is called Confusifying. I'm going to pick that up and start by applying that under my brow bone. Then I'm going to take the tan right next to that one. That one is called Witching Hour. I'm going to apply a little bit of that to the outer portion of my crease. And then I want to take this color right here. This one's called Wickedly Wonderful. And I'm going to take just a little bit of that in the outer portion of my crease and blending that inward just to create a little bit more depth. Once again, I did have a little bit of trouble blending these darker shadows. I did notice that the last time I used this palette, I wasn't a big fan of the darker colors. They just kind of didn't really seem to want to blend very well. And then finally, once again, I'm going to take that same color and I'm going to apply that one just to my lower lash line. And I'm going to kind of keep that mainly just on the outer half. So here's more of an up close look at the color difference between the two. So that's the 24 and the 25. So definitely a lot more like purpley, and this one's definitely more mauvey. Let's do a quick little swatch on the hand to see the colors. This one I honestly wasn't that impressed with. I remember it being a little bit more sheer than I wanted it to be. All right, so looking at the two colors here, I don't know if you can see it, but like, do you see how there's a lot of like sheerness to the base itself? Like, it's got the pretty sparkle, but then the base of it is not very pigmented. Honestly, those aren't my favorite type of formulas when it comes to a liquid shadow. Like, I want it to have base color. So that is a little bit of a letdown for me because I know that I didn't enjoy this one last year. But however, I do want to see how this one's going to perform. So we're gonna go ahead and use this one today. I actually like to apply these with a separate brush though. I find that it just keeps the applicator a bit cleaner, and then I can actually control how much product I am putting onto my lid at once, because that's another thing with liquid shadows. If you apply too much, they just crack and crease and transfer so bad. I always think applying thin layers of liquid shadows are the best way to go. And I find that using a separate brush gives me way more control. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna apply this mainly on the inner portion of my lid towards the center. Okay, that is pretty sheer. Let's see if we can build it up a little bit more. All right, let's try to add some more to this side. Kind of bums me out. I'm not a fan of these. Even though this is not how I typically apply these, I will try to go ahead and do it with the actual applicator. Some people are always like, you have to apply it with the applicator, but I just don't like doing it that way. I don't like getting the applicator dirty, and then I don't like having too much product on my lid. But there's always someone who's like, you gotta use the applicator. I do not like, you guys, I do not like this. I do not like this. If you try to like blend it out at all, you lose all of the color. Like, I can see a lot more of the color here than I can on this one, but there's also way too much product on my lid and it just feels like it's not gonna dry. So like, by trying to blend this, I feel like you just lose all of the color. Honestly, you guys, I do not like this. I do not like this. It doesn't really like seem like it's wanting to dry. Okay, we're gonna see if we can try to save this, and we're gonna use this color here. That one is like the Glinda-y color from the palette, and that one is called Festivate. So I'm gonna see if I can go ahead and try to apply that on top of the shadow to see if we can get a better effect. Oh yeah, this is way better with the shadow. I'd rather just use the shadow than the liquid shadow. Hopefully that will try to make the cream shadow kind of like set more. All right, I think that's the best we're gonna get with the eyeshadow for now, so let's go ahead and move on to the next product. All right, so I did my eyeliner really quickly, but I do want to use the pencil liner from the 2024 collection. I don't remember the name of this one off the top of my head, but this one's actually like a baby blue liner, which I feel like would work so much better with this kind of set. So we're gonna do this one on the waterline of the lower lash line. I think that it's like a really pretty powder blue color. I feel like it comes off a little more subtle on my actual like eye though, so I think I might just kind of build that up a little bit. But I still think color-wise, I think it works really well for this look. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off the rest of like my mascara, lashes, and all that. We'll come back with the last few products. All right, so now the last two products that we have are a lip liner and a lip gloss. Now from last year, there was a lipstick, so I do actually think I do want to do all three of them, but in order to really show the colors themselves, I'm gonna do the lip gloss first, then wipe it off, then do the lip liner, lipstick, and all that, and then do the gloss again. I know, seems a little bit extra, but I want you guys to be able to like see what this looks like on its own. All right, and once again, here is the lip gloss. It kind of has like a little bit of a pinky, lavendery blue kind of reflex. It's kind of like the whole theme of this collection, but let's go ahead and try this on. Now this one actually does have a really interesting shape of the doe foot applicator. It's kind of like a little curve, which is interesting. So let's go ahead and see. what that feels like. Ooh, I kind of like applying it both ways, like with the curve down and with the curve up. Okay, first things first. So like I said, this is my first time trying this formula. Color wise, it really just is like a clear with sparkle, but texture wise, it has a thick lip gloss kind of texture. It's not necessarily like sticky itself. However, like if you're in the wind and your hair blows onto your lips, I mean, it's definitely going to stick to this lip gloss formula. But I do have to say, it does feel very comfortable on the lips. It's almost like a gloss meets a lip oil, but it's thick. It's not like a thin lip gloss at all. It definitely kind of just like coats your lips in a really nice, comfortable kind of way. So I kind of like that so far. You can barely see like the little bluey purple kind of micro sparkles. They are super, super tiny. At a distance, it would just look like I have a clear lip gloss on. So it's nothing like that special, but it does have like all the little particles, which are pretty. The scent of this is actually quite interesting, and I feel like I can't quite put my finger on it. To me, it almost smells like a lemon cake batter, but like just the tiniest hint of lemon. Like it's not like a crazy, like strong, like almost like a lemony vanilla cake batter, but just like that little hint of like zesty lemon. Maybe that's just me, but that's what it smells like to me. And fun fact, when I was little, lemon cake used to be my favorite cake ever. I don't know why I ever stopped liking it. I never stopped liking it. I just haven't had it in so long. But oh my gosh, when I was like 3, 4, 5, like every year when my mom would make a birthday cake for me, it would always be a lemon cake. All right, so that is the lip gloss. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe it off so I can show you the lip liner and the lipstick again. All right, so for the lip liner, this one, let me see if it has the name on here. It's called Toss Toss. Very fun. I love the name of that. And then this is what the color looks like. To me, it's like a mauvey, deeper rose kind of color. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips first, and then I'll fill it in after so you can see what it looks like both ways. And there's a little handy dandy sharpener on the back here if you need to sharpen your lip liner. Super, super creamy as far as formula goes, like super creamy. All right, so this is how the lip liner Toss looks on me, with it just kind of like lining my lips. Now I am gonna fill them in as well, so let me go ahead and do that. All right, and this is the color with it all filled in. It's definitely a little bit more rosy than what I go for. It's a little bolder for me, but it is still a really pretty color. And I think it's actually gonna go really well with the lipstick that came out last year from the collection. Let me see if I can read this. This one's called You've Been Glindified. So this one is another one of those rosy kind of colors, but has a slight little bit of goldeny shimmer to it. So let's go ahead and apply that. So I don't know if you can see on camera, but it does have a little bit of like a slight frost to it. Not quite a frost, but a little bit of a sheen to it of like a goldeny kind of color. Now I do think it's gonna kind of clash just a little bit with the lip gloss, but since the lip gloss is clear, it's gonna be fine. The only thing is I don't want to get the lipstick all over the applicator though. That's gonna suck. So I think, do I have a lip brush here? I swear I never have a lip brush handy when I need it. Okay, this one's not technically a lip brush, but we're gonna make it work. I'm just gonna do like a couple globs of it on the back of my hand. I don't like getting the applicators dirty of things. All right, I'm gonna pick up some of that on the lip brush and apply it. All right, so with the lip gloss on, like you really kind of can't see it at all. It pretty much is just a clear lip gloss. Even like the colors of like the blue sparkles aren't really showing through as much, but it still works out pretty well. So here is the final look. The only thing is I think like the eyes and the lips are a little like too competing for me. I would either do like one or the other. I know like these lips probably aren't too bold for some people, but for me they're a little bit more out there, so it just kind of looks a little mix matchy. But for the sake of the video, I just wanted to show you all of the products. So overall, my thoughts on all of the products, which ones did I like and which ones did I not like? Starting off with the glitter stick, overall I wasn't a big fan of this one. It just kind of gives like an oily film to my skin, and it didn't really have much base color to it, so it was really just a subtle kind of shimmery look. But overall, I just didn't really enjoy the formula of this one, so unfortunately this is a no for me. Then for the liquid shadow stick, once again, I just really wasn't impressed with this one. I prefer mine to have a lot of a base color to it, and this one just had too much of like more of a sheer kind of texture to it. And overall, if I had not applied the powder shadow on top of this one, I really don't think the look would have turned out nearly as nice as it did. The lip liner I think was a really nice formula. The color's not really something I'd wear a whole lot, but it is still very, very pretty. I just think it's so expensive for what it is, and I have found so many really great lip liners that are a fraction of the price. And finally for the lip gloss, in the end of the day, it is just a clear lip gloss with some sparkle to it. So once again, going back to the price, it is just way more than I would have really honestly felt comfortable buying. Honestly, the products just didn't kind of live up to what I was expecting. I think I enjoyed last year's a little bit more. So it does hurt me a little bit to say that, knowing what I know now, I don't think I would have purchased this set. No matter how beautiful it is, no matter how much of a Wicked fan I am, it fell a little bit flat for me. So I'll go ahead and put on screen here the price breakdown of the set, breaking it down into the individual items. So you are getting a slight discount per item compared to the regular full retail price of each item individually. Now, unfortunately, you can only get all of these items in the set, but considering the price of each item in this way, I think, you know, would I buy a lip liner for this price? Would I buy an essentially clear lip gloss for this price? Unfortunately, I just don't think it met my expectations in the end. But don't worry, we are also going to be doing the Elphaba set as well. That one will be in a video coming up very, very soon. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe. You can follow me on social media. Links are below. And until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.